Most of us devalue our network. It's not intentional. It's just that it requires work to make our network help us. And most of us, let's face it, expect it to be automatic. And it's not. We're going to discuss this and give you 2 tips for not devaluing your network on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, from the wheel of the car. Oh, Tom's looking down. What's going on?
I'm fine.
Okay. Hey, how are you today, Tom?
I'm doing well. I guess I was looking down, so you thought I was not doing well at the moment. But I'm fine.
No,
well.
I thought you had something. I thought something was going on. You know, usually when I'm looking down, I'm doing the little technology stuff I have to do, or I'm dealing with a problem. So I was just concerned that something had come up. So that's all.
Can you hear me, Bob?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. This is a great broadcast start up.
I do not understand why everything is perfect until we go live.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. It's a interesting thing. I think it'll be fine now. Sometimes I just have these glitches. It might be the wind or whatever's going on outside. So anyhow.
So I want to do a really quick celebration today for each of us, because I want to get to I listened to your opening because I hadn't read it, and I have some questions for you about devaluing my network. Okay?
Sure. Can we welcome people briefly, at least, and say welcome to today's Antidote?
Super quick. Yep. Go for it.
All right. Welcome to today's Antidote, everyone, our daily broadcast and podcast. We're going to have a conversation today in just a few short minutes about your network's value. And today we're going to focus on devaluing it. So before we get to that, though, we are going to dive into our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today? You are clearly excited about talking about it.
I'm excited because I realized this morning someone that I met last night, I was texting with her this morning, and she sent me a text that is so consistent with what 4 other people have said to me in the last month. And it was like, wow, these signs, you get these things, these messages from people, and I wasn't paying attention. I'd heard the same thing, but it was like, wait a second, I've heard this before. And I think it's fascinating that we get these things that keep coming at us. You know, the Buddhist idea is that you're going to hit the wall until you find a way over, under, around, or through it. And I'm really starting to realize that in my life in a lot of ways. And I think it's also the same thing in business. If we don't figure out a way past whatever is bothering us, I'm afraid to make a sales call. I'm afraid to send out an email. I'm afraid to have a hard meeting with the team member who's not performing the way I need them to perform. It just keeps coming back at us over and over and over until we figure it out. So I'm celebrating the fact. Go ahead.
I was wondering what you're celebrating in that.
Are you going to ask me a question?
I am.
Is that allowed?
It is. On this show, it is allowed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that stipulation. Well, folks, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Tom and questions to me are subject to some manipulation coming up tomorrow. So that's a tease for tomorrow's program.
So what was your celebration? That you finally understood it?
Yes. I think it's that I finally understood it. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. What about you?
So I am celebrating that today. In just a little bit, I'll get to do the second session of this cohort that I've been working with, this group of small nonprofits, and trying to help them figure out their fundraising and sustainability plans. And even though we're doing it on Zoom, which is fine. It's great to get a group of people together and have a conversation about how to help them take their next step forward. And so I am looking forward to, again, leading a discussion about that. And it's a nice group of organizations. And so that's what I'm celebrating, the opportunity to be together with them.
Awesome. Love it. Love when you get out and share our message with people.
Yes. Are
So,
the Renegades celebrating anything?
Nope, we're not.
Do we have a quote from your book?
No, because I forgot to bring the book today. Epic.
All right, here you go.
Okay,
I'm just going to open a page.
Okay.
Here's the quote. Daily affirmations deliver a few important benefits. They give me, this was you writing this, a morning routine that helps ground my day. They make me recognize the many gifts I have to share with the world. So, based on that quote, we should all think about the daily affirmations that we have, kind of like celebrations. So, if you have a celebration you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. You can also go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share it there. So, daily affirmations. Or if you're someone who really does that on a regular basis and want to share the value that you have found in daily affirmations, I think that would be excellent. You know, actually, I think one of the things, it's interesting, you posted something in there this morning about one of our Renegade Success Network members is hitting her 50th state in a little bit.
Which is amazing to me. Jean Born of Born to Travel. So not only is she someone who travels, but she's a travel agent who helps other people travel. And she's landing in her 50th state, Tom, and guess what state it is?
It's Oregon.
It's Oregon. I thought it was going to be like Montana or Hawaii or, Rhode Island. So one of those ones that you don't really have a reason to go to unless you're really making an effort. But oddly enough, it was Oregon.
How many states have you been to?
I have to do a count, but I'm going to guess by now it's probably close to 30, 35.
Nice.
I drove a couple of years ago. I drove across the country from California. So I hit a fair number of the southern states. I've hit everything on the Atlantic coast.
Nice.
My weakness is the upper Midwest.
The upper Midwest, I have 42. Hawaii, Alaska, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, and the 2 Dakotas are the ones that I have not been in.
All right. Nice. So you did it inversely, which ones you didn't go to.
It's easier to remember because I know I had been to a lot. So I wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to count. I'm gonna count that up. And folks, if you want to play along with us, the question in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group is, how many states have you been to? And I tell you what, I'll sweeten the pot today, Tom, because I'm one of those nice guys. I didn't bring my book today, so to the person who's been to the most states besides Gene, I'll send you an autographed copy of the Renegade Way book. No cost, right out the door. So go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and tell us how many states you've been to, and we're going to use the honor system.
Okay. It would be kind of hard to confirm that, I think.
Yeah. Unless you just took photos at every state line.
So welcome.
Remember when people did that with their Polaroid cameras?
Sure. Although now they would just go to Canva and play with it. And
it's so true.
So Danny says, promise me you'll go to Hawaii someday soon, Tom. Yeah, Hawaii, I think, is in my plans. It's not immediately, but my wife has been. And so that might be the only challenge of whether, she feels like she's been there, done that. And I think it would be fun to go together. So, Danny, I will add that to my bucket list and figure out how to get to Hawaii. I think it would be fun. I've heard great things about it. And maybe I'll wait until the gas prices go down a little bit, and then I'll make my way out to Hawaii. So we'll see.
It looked really good on the Brady Bunch specials 40, 50 years ago.
You just have to watch out for big spiders, right?
That's right. Very nice. Very nice.
Or necklaces that have curses on them.
I had no idea that you were this encyclopedic on the Brady Bunch.
Dude, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. What do you expect? There were only 3 channels.
You know what I wanted to be as a kid was an architect, because Mike Brady was an architect.
There you go. You were a writer, so it's kind of close. All right, everyone. Let's shift away from this, although interesting discussion, and appreciate the comments. So our conversation this week is around your network's value. We talked a little bit about what it is. We talked a little bit about the different types of your network, whether it's in person or virtual. Today, we're going to talk about devaluing it. And I know you wanted to dive into this topic. So, Bob, take it away.
Well, is it okay, Tom, if I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay. In the introduction, you said that most of us devalue our network, right? Can you tell me why you think that and how we devalue it?
Sure. I'm not sure.
What?
Well, I don't want to give away the secret sauce. Do you remember that you wrote that introduction? I just happened to be the one who could read it. So
did I really write that?
You did. Huh. So I'm gonna.
I guess my question is, how do we devalue our network? Because most of us think that we have all those people that we know, and they're out there. They're little bees buzzing around trying to help us achieve our goals. So where is the disconnect? Because it sounds to me like we're saying now, not just you, but me, because apparently I wrote it, though I don't remember it, which is fine, that there's a disconnect between we have a network and the network is working for us. So help me understand, if you can, where that disconnect falls.
Well, I think there are two ways. One is we don't stay in connection with them. So, we all have things going on that are different. I would say for myself, 3 years ago, I was almost solely focused on nonprofit coaching and consulting. And now I'm doing a little bit more because I've seen that there are things that broadened. And does everyone in my network know that? So I think that we don't always stay up to date with not only what they're doing and also sharing with what we are doing. And I think that's a key piece of not believing that they can be supportive of what you are doing. Not supportive, but that they are aware and out there talking about it. And, I would imagine there's some people who still think that I work in higher education fundraising because they just we haven't had those conversations. And so I think that, no matter how much we post on social media, we might change a website, we might change what LinkedIn looks like, doesn't mean that each and every one of them are taking the time to go and discover that. And so I think one way we devalue it is when we don't stay connected to them so that they are aware of what we are up to most recently. I would say the other way, and they're kind of similar, the other way is you don't necessarily think they can help us. So I remember when my job was eliminated in one role, and I was out trying to figure out what my next step was. I have a strong alumni network with the college that I attended. And yet I didn't leverage it, or even, I would say I didn't leverage it the way I might have. And because I think my assumption at the time was I was in college athletics, external relations, fundraising, and I wasn't sure that there were people in there that could be helpful. Or I didn't want to share the information that I was out looking for a different job. And so I think that in and of itself is saying I have this network and I don't think they can help me. So I think those are the two different ways. Is one, we don't stay in touch with them, and the other is we don't believe that they can be as helpful as they likely can in trying to help us get to wherever we want to get to.
So in both those scenarios, it's really us actively devaluing them. So making an assessment on their worth to us up front rather than having the discussion. Is that fair?
Taking the time to reach out to them.
Right. Well, let's be honest, Tom. In the situation you gave where your position was eliminated, it's kind of hard to have those discussions. Hey, I had this job, position was eliminated, and because of that, I'm doing something different now. I just wanted to share that with you. A lot of us would not be real comfortable with that discussion. That would be a little bit of a stressor for me with people that I wasn't really close to. But with people that I think I had more of a relationship with. Like, I remember when that happened, and you and I went out together, and you were very open about it right off the bat. Here's what happened. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you see? But we had developed that relationship. I think for a lot of us, it's harder to go to those people we don't know real well and share this, because for me, at least, I feel like I'm asking them to do something for me that isn't helping them. It's a very selfish request, even though I know one of the greatest things that we can give people is the gift of help me, and then you feel good about what you can do to help me. I get that totally rationally, but in my head, it's like, if I ask you for something, and Tom, we've been through this. How many times have I apologized to you for all the time you've taken after this program to help me figure out my life? I bet I apologize to you twice a week. And I know in my heart of hearts, you enjoy that time greatly. It's really valuable to you. Yet I feel uncomfortable. And I think that's part of this issue is we devalue it because ultimately we devalue ourselves. Ooh, look at that. Saw that coming.
Yeah, or I think we make assumptions of how someone else is going to react. Because we are passing judgment on ourselves, like, oh, yeah, and in some ways we're passing judgment on them. Anytime you make an assumption of you're sort of judging that this is the way they are going to react to this news and information. And I think that that part of it is what holds us back sometimes for sharing that information. Now, it's interesting. Once I had transitioned into a different role, once I launched my business, I was very comfortable sharing with my network that this is what was going on. And I think that was feeling like, oh, okay, now that I have different news to share, I was willing to share it. Whereas before I was not as comfortable sharing it for whatever reason. And I think that, I don't think I'm unique. I think that we all kind of go through those things where we're like, we're judging ourselves based on what has happened rather than just trying to learn from it and figure out how to move forward and how to take whatever the next step might be.
Or we're assuming how others will judge us. For me, that's usually it. If I explained to you that, hey, I got, the contract of the job I had ended and they didn't really see a need for me, I'm expecting someone to be like, wow, you must really be a lousy employee. That's really embarrassing. And the fact of the matter is, no one cares. Well, we're so wrapped up in our own lives that, no one's spending 3 days going, wow, Bob must really be a bad person if that didn't work out for him. I mean, that's just amazing. And I think in my head, I'm thinking people are obsessing about Bob all day and all night. Hey, I'm just being straight. And I think I'm not alone. I think there are plenty of people out there watching this, listening to this, going, yeah, if I'm being honest with myself, I think that people think about me more than they probably do. Well, and I think that's part of this discussion, right?
Sure. And I think that we think that we're alone in the situation that we're in. And while it is unique because it's for us, it doesn't mean that many others haven't been through similar situations. What I found interesting was the more people I talked to, the more people either had been themselves or knew others who had been in the similar situation, and the value that they could offer based on their knowledge, experience, and perspective could have been very helpful if I had taken the time to share.
And I think that would be my one thing, Tom, if I can jump ahead a little bit, is I've seen the same thing. When I've shared with people openly, honestly about what's going on, warts and all, the results have been astounding. People have been super supportive. They've gone out of their way to help in ways that I can't even imagine. I told a friend when I started my first business what I was doing, and he's like, why don't you come work with us and do some work for us? And, oh, we have this room. We'd love to give you an office because I'm sure you'd love to have an office. It's huge. Yeah. Game changer right there. And that was one of those things I would never expected that to happen in a million years. But it was just having that open discussion. This is what I'm trying to do. Here's the next step. what do you think? And it was like, well, you probably need an office. Oh, wow, you probably need a couple of clients. I've got people in the building that you could work with. And I think that's same thing with your team. I mean, one of the things I'm always amazed about when I go to a conference, I think the best thing about going to conferences, if you're an attendee, is you listen to people, you talk to people, and suddenly you realize you're not the only leader having the same problems. Can't find qualified employees, can't retain qualified employees, have squabbling among your staff members. Every time I went to a conference, the same list of problems came up, and it was just comforting to know that there were other people struggling through the same thing, because I think we often think that we're the only person going through it, like you said, and that tends to cause us to think that, to magnify it, when in fact, when I go to a conference and hear that everyone's dealing with the same issues, oh, okay, wow, I'm not a problem child. I'm just a guy dealing with problems.
I like that.
Can you tell I had caffeinated coffee today, by the way?
Something was going on.
They were out of decaf for some reason at the Royal Farms, and I had caffeinated coffee, and man, I can feel it really perks me up. I will never sleep again for the rest of my life. This will go for about 12 hours.
Thanks for the heads up. So for any of you who have to interact with Bob today, you know what you're going to get. I'm going to offer my one thing as, I think one of the other ways we devalue our network is assuming that our network only goes as far as the person we know. So we have that connection, right? So whatever number of connections you have on LinkedIn or the people that you know, and when we consider that that's as far as it goes, we don't consider the fact that those people all know, at least 1,000 people. Not that they can call them up right away, but that they might really know someone else when given the right information that could help you out. And so that, people would look at, I have 1,000 LinkedIn connections and maybe I have 40 really good friends. And we don't take the time to think that, well, each of those people probably has 20 to 40 really good friends and 1,000 plus LinkedIn connections. So really our network is significantly larger than we think it is when we focus only on those people that we know, not the people that they know.
I like that. One of my biggest clients from my marketing company years ago came from someone who forwarded an email that I sent out each month to this person. And after about 6 months, the person called and said, I've been getting your emails. And I'm like, oh, are you on the list? I don't know you. And they said, no, they get forwarded to me by this person. And they said, I love what you're saying. I really want to talk to you about how you can help us. I had no idea. I thought that my email list was just to the people on the list. I never thought about the fact that someone might say to a friend, hey, this is really good. You really should read this. And that's part of that, devaluing that network, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have one thing you'd like to share around devaluing your network, please feel free to put it in the comments because we know while our antidote has value, yours does as well. And that someone out there might be looking exactly what you have to share. So please feel free to put it in the comments. You can also go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. If you're not yet a member, but you want to either share how many states you've been to and the chance that you might win a free book from Bob, or you want to provide your one thing around devaluing your network and you like to join our community, just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and all you have to do is ask to join, and you can become a part of our growing community of over 1,200 people who see themselves as renegades and are trying to figure out how to take the next step along their own unique pathway to success. So we look forward to seeing you inside of that group. And if not, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of Today's Antidotes, one of our favorite episodes each week, where we will share our discoveries of the week. So with that.
Hey, Tom, can I do a tease for next week? Next week, towards the end of the week, will be the 2-year anniversary of our program. And so for next week, our programming is going to be lessons Tom and I learned over the last 2 years of doing this program. And the Renegade Success Network, and the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. So you don't want to miss that. There are some really good gems in there that you're going to want to hear that will change how you see your day, I bet. So that's a tease for next week.
Excellent. I love it. All right. Go out and have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegade in you.
Anything else? No.
Yeah, well, find a way to value your network in a new way today. Call someone you haven't talked to, send an email to someone, go to a LinkedIn connection, or play my favorite game, phone roulette. Go to your phone, go down the list of contacts, whichever one you find, call that person. Just call them. Hey, what's up?
Have you ever done that and have the contact be like, oh, I can't call that person?
Never.
Never?
Not once. I have called several times. It has bit me. I call not bit me, but it's been someone who I would not have called normally, but I just call and say, hey, I know you're probably not expecting me to call you, but I'm playing this game with myself and you came up, and I honor the logic of it. And usually they laugh and then they go, oh, okay, wow, that's really cool.
Very good. Good for you.
But as I think of it right now, Tom, I'm thinking about the possibility. It could be really interesting.
Probably a couple of them. Anyhow.
Yeah, I may have to modify the rules.
All right, everyone. Go out and have a great day. We will see you soon. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.